Macedonia's government wants to rewrite the nation's history. Its Albanian minority fear the consequences. As ethnic tensions increase, opponents say the regime is using surveillance to suppress dissent.
But the capital's martial statues and imposing facades hide another more sinister narrative. Macedonia's mostly Muslim Albanian minority seems to have been entirely written out of the country's past. Not a single Albanian hero is commemorated, quite the opposite. This is Tsar Dusan the Mighty, a Christian Orthodox ruler known for subjugating Albanians. Shortly after it was erected, an angry mob tried to tear it down. Ethnic Albanians make up a quarter of the population, many living in Skopje's old quarter, which, although picturesque, has been left to fall into ruin by the government. Here, many are disenchanted with their political leaders.
As Albanians in Macedonia, we have problem with political representative here because regularly Albanian political elites are being bought by the government structures with some financial or other favors, which affects the Albanian political history here.
Albanians largely boycotted the presidential election last April in protest at Prime Minister Gruevski's choice for presidential candidate, Georgi Ivanov. That same month, Gruevski secured a fourth consecutive term as Prime Minister in a snap election that, according to the OSCE, was marred by widespread irregularities and violence against the Albanian minority. The Zikiri family was among those targeted. A mob even firebombed their home.
U 12 satот organizirano nad 100 duši napadnale Natre. Čisto masakar to je. Da ne može da se žive. Razni vikanje. Ajde od ovde da se selite. Ajde od tuka nema mjesto za vas, Albanci.
Other Albanians from this predominantly Macedonian neighborhood in Skopje have already fled, including Femi's nephew, who was badly injured.
Ima I dokazi, majica tuka imam ušte, so krv majčkata od deteto.
Shka kjo që me mi majt gjemt në barë, ndër. U kam dal mas gjemve të nga rejnë, e në kërim karo mu, me gjithë gjemt. E qka kjo që nuk në alon rahat, kur qesh, po pa qarë me nga rejnën, se e vlat. Që, zdi shka të kalzoj ma zi të na, shka e zeze fugjin të na, që kjo është, që.
You'd be forgiven for thinking that the party which says it represents most of Macedonia's Albanian minority, the Democratic Union for Integration, would be opposed to Gruevski. But you'd be wrong. They've been in coalition with Gruevski for 7 years.
How is it that your party can be in coalition with a government that's presided over all this?
Well, your viewers have to know the sensitivities of the society in order to understand the answer to this question. The coalition partners in the Republic of Macedonia are a result of elections. Whoever wins in the Macedonian political bloc and whoever wins in the Albanian political bloc, they have the legitimacy of the two largest communities, and they bear the responsibility to govern together, to try and find a common language.
Nonetheless, playing a staunchly Christian card wrapped up in nationalist rhetoric helped Gruevski achieve his party's double election victory. And that grip on power, say his critics, has tightened still further by the appointment of his close relatives and friends to key government posts. Like other countries in the Balkans, Macedonia is riddled with fault lines, both ethnic and religious. It's a combustible mix, and although both sides preach peace and tolerance, the incidence of hate crime is rising. This is the office of the Helsinki Committee, a human rights NGO which campaigns vigorously against hate crime and which has been attacked many times in recent years.
The two last attacks were very serious. These groups are organized and they are instructed to do so. They are promoting politics which create, at the end, ethnic tensions. Usually, before the elections, during the elections, and after the elections, we have increasement of the number of hate crime incidents and criminal acts. And this is only because the hate speech is the instrument of this government.
It is artificial initiation of the ethnical problems. They always keep these problems very high on the agenda and warm because this is the way how they rule.
A case in point is the so-called monster trial, which saw 6 ethnic Albanians sentenced to life imprisonment 2 years after they were arrested for the alleged murder of 5 ethnic Macedonian fishermen. The fishermen had been found dead in April 2012 at Lake Smilkovsko, not far from the capital. Within 3 weeks, the Interior Minister, Gordana Jankulovska, flanked by Gruevski's cousin, the head of the secret police, held a press conference to announce the arrest of what she called terrorists heavily influenced and directed by fundamentalist Islamist ideology, declaring their guilt before the trial. Even the government's coalition partner found this hard to swallow.
There was no presumption of innocence. There was claims that the entire case was done due to Islamic terrorism motives, which was never proven, as a matter of fact, and we do not believe that that was the real motive behind the case. Then the compromising process continued throughout the investigation with the witnesses and the suspects and the court itself.
Nasser Raoufi, the lawyer representing the accused, is particularly concerned about the testimony of 4 fishermen who may have stumbled across the killers as the sun was going down.
Ти четворица сведоци доаѓаат до овој правец и се движа навака кога биле сопрани навод од некои особи кои ги дури опиша, кои не биле маскирани, по физиономија ги кажа кои се.
According to the lawyer, the witnesses were told to leave and moments later they heard gunshots.
Имаше и во истражната постапка, а и на главната расправа имаше соочување помеѓу овие лица кои беа посочени како осомничени, односно за овој настан, и овие свидетели. Они ги гледа и при тоа соочување нивно кажа дека тоа не се лицата, бидејќи не биле маскирани, ги виделе физиономиите, мада било самак, беа сигурни дека ова не се лицата кои ги затекна на лицо местото кога беше практично самиот настан.
The accused were convicted after 46 court hearings, all in closed session, predominantly relying on the unsubstantiated claims of a protected state witness.
We have had several cases of protected witnesses which afterwards admitted that they were actually forced to promise something to do that.
Ibadet Luta is the mother of Sami Luta, one of the convicted men.
Ке се соочам, ке се борам за него. Тоа треба да се каже, да се докаже дека е невин. Дека е невин се ми тако. Не е виновен. Тоа пак ке се издржам, викам, се ми ке излезе. Тоа го сонувам секоја вечер. Дека еден ден ке ми дојде на врата само кога ќе го гледам да го прегрнам. Единец син ми е тој.
When the verdict was announced in July, thousands of ethnic Albanians took to the streets in Skopje, calling for the return of the Albanian National Liberation Army in the worst violence the country has seen since an armed insurgency 14 years ago. Macedonia largely escaped the wars arising from the breakup of Yugoslavia. But in 2001, a bloody conflict brought the country to the brink of civil war, when ethnic Albanian separatists and fighters from Kosovo began attacking Macedonia's security forces. After months of fighting, a peace agreement was signed, since when tensions have simmered beneath the surface. But widespread suspicion about the monster case has inflamed old animosities.
They're building the tension over this case. They wanted to build tension against the Albanian community, the Islamic religion, but they're forgetting that many similar things happened before the armed conflict in 2001.
Many fear that the heightened tensions could drag other countries into the crisis. In neighboring Kosovo, the head of the Kosovan Liberation Army's Veterans Association is standing in front of a map of Greater Albania, which includes much of present-day Macedonia.
Na e konsiderojmë si shtet artificial Maqedoninë. Kjo është ëndra shqiptarëve, që shqiptarët duan të jetojnë në gjitha këto territore edhe ku kanë jetuar. Mendoj që është bon padrejtësi shekullore ndaj shqiptarëve. Mendimi im personal, mendimi i veteranëve të luftës dhe i krejt popullit shqiptar në Kosovë është që rasti monstra është i munduar nga shërbimi sekret Maqedonas për të mbajtur konfliktin e gjallë mes shqiptarëve dhe maqedonëve. Na nuk respektojmë atë ligj, po erdhi situata që duhet të luftojmë. Në Maqedoni shumica e veteranëve të luftës dhe jo të veteranëve të popullit, pa marrë parasysh, do ta ndihmojnë luftën e vëllezërve tonë në Maqedoni.